Legend of Yufei Chapter 61.
The story kicks off with a scene that sort of foreshadows Qin Hui's own doom, doesn't it?
It does. Emperor Gaozong and Qin Hui decide to take a stroll through the city, Lim, but they do it in disguise.
Right. The emperor dresses as a merchant, and Qin Hui as his attendant. A bit unusual for the top brass.
Very. And they end up at Longyin Temple. There they find a really famous character diviner, a Chaizi master named Shi Runfu.
Chaizi. That's the art of breaking down Chinese characters for hidden meanings, right?
Exactly. It's not just reading palms. It's analyzing the components, the radicals within a character to find prophecies or warnings. It's quite intricate.
So Gaozong, the disguised emperor, steps up first. He asks about his fortune, his whole life, and writes the character Chun, spring.
Right. And the diviner looks at spring, and at first he's full of praise, says the merchant has great fortune, symbols of prosperity and seasons.
But there's a but.
There is, a heavy one. He warns him. Now, you have to kind of visualize the character breakdown here. Spring can be seen as containing the character for sun.
Okay.
And the diviner says, here's the problem. The Qin head is too heavy. It's pressing down on the sun, blocking its light.
Oh, so he's basically telling the emperor his prime minister Qin is bad news.
Precisely. He warns the emperor, completely unaware it is the emperor, never associate with anyone named Qin, says they'll bring harm. It's an incredibly direct and dangerous political critique.
That's intense.
Yeah.
Gaozong must have been sweating a bit. He pays the guy off.
Yeah, pays him, probably a bit nervously, and then pushes Qin Hui to get his reading done.
So Qin Hui steps up and writes, Hu, which means secluded or dark, gloomy.
Uh-huh. And this is where the fortune-telling gets really, really dark, macabre even.
Also.
The diviner acknowledges Qin Hui has great power now, like the security of Mount Tai, but the character itself, it spells ruin.
Okay.
He points out that inside this character, there are two components that look like the character for silk or thread, kind of wrapped up inside.
Two threads. What does that signify?
The interpretation is chilling. He says it means double dragons lock the bones.
Double dragons lock the bones.
And the final verdict is no corpse will remain.
No corpse.
Your physical body will be destroyed, vanished, gone. It's not just death. It's like complete erasure. The diviner warns him you need to retreat, step back now, because the moment you encounter hardness, your prosperity turns to decay.
That's incredibly specific. Not just bad luck, but a prediction of utter annihilation. What happens right after that?
Yeah.
Chaos.
Pretty much. The crowd that had gathered, some started recognizing the emperor and Qin Hui. They suddenly realized what just happened. This diviner basically delivered death threats, political ones, to the two most powerful guys around.
So people scatter.
Instantly. And Shi Runfu, the diviner, he knows exactly how much trouble he's in. He just abandons his stall, vanishes into the crowd, gone.
And Qin Hui.
Furious. Orders an immediate search, but Shi Runfu is nowhere to be found, leaving Qin Hui just stuck with that image. No corpse remaining.
Okay, so let's fast forward. It's a couple months later. That prophecy is maybe rattling around in Qin Hui's head, but the immediate problem is political, right?
Very much so. He's got General Yufei, Yufei's son Yu Yan, and another general, Zhang Xian, locked up.
And he's trying to get them to confess to treason.
He's got his agents, Li Gang and Luo Ruji, torturing them. The source mentions severe torture. But it's been 2 months and it's a complete stalemate.
They won't confess.
They refuse. There's no actual confession. Bushigong. And without that, legally, it's difficult for Qin Hui to just execute them cleanly. It's creating a huge problem for him.
And the clock is ticking. We hit this really critical date, the 29th day of the 12th lunar month. Why is that day so important?
It's basically New Year's Eve, the last day before the Lunar New Year holidays.
Which means?
Well, traditionally, court business halts. There might be amnesties, case reviews. If Qin Hui doesn't get this resolved now, before the year turns, he risks everything unraveling. The emperor might get petitioned, questions might be asked. It could expose the whole frame-up.
Time's run out. He needs a conclusion.
He absolutely does. And we find him at home that night, by the east window, Dongxiu, drinking wine with his wife, Lady Wengxi. He's anxious.
And the final push doesn't come from the court, but from the street.
Exactly. His trusted servant, Xi Ning, brings in a package. Inside is an anonymous leaflet, a Xuan Dan, that's apparently being widely circulated.
A public announcement, what's to say?
The source says it was written by some fearless commoner, Lu Yunsheng. It lays out the whole injustice against Yufei, and crucially, it calls for the citizens to gather and submit a collective civilian petition, a minben.
A minben?
Yeah.
Direct petition to the emperor.
Yes, a mass petition signed by ordinary people demanding justice for Yufei. For a high official like Qi Hui, that's terrifying. It means the public has turned, that maybe he's losing the mandate of heaven in their eyes if that petition reaches Emperor Gaozong.
He's finished. Toast.
Completely. And right there, by the window, he confesses to his wife, Wang Shi. He admits he totally fabricated the imperial decree used to imprison Yufei in the first place. He's panicking.
What's his dilemma? He could just kill Yufei, right?
It's not that simple in his mind. He actually says he wants to release Yufei now because he's terrified of this public outcry and being exposed. But then he also says he's afraid of the fourth prince, Wuzu.
The fourth prince, Wuzu himself.
Who secretly wanted Yufei dealt with.
So he's trapped.
And this is the moment his wife, Wang Shi, steps in. She becomes the catalyst.
She sees his indecision. What does she do?
She doesn't even speak at first. She grabs the fire poker, the huozu, and in this incredibly dramatic gesture, she writes 7 characters right there in the charcoal ash of the stove.
In the ash.
Yeah.
What does she write?
The absolutely chilling advice, Xian.
Which means?
It is easy to bind a tiger, but difficult to release it.
Wow. Yufei is the tiger.
Precisely. He's bound now, in prison. But if you let him go, a tiger like that won't just walk away quietly. He'll come back, seek justice, expose Qinhui. Her point is ruthless. Once you start down this path, framing a powerful hero, there's no turning back. You have to finish it.
And Qinhui's reaction?
Instant agreement. He gets it immediately. And then, showing how secret this is, he quickly wipes the ash clean, erases the evidence of her deadly advice.
Okay, so the decision is made. Execute Yufei. But how? It's New Year's Eve. They need to send the order secretly, quickly.
And this is where the story delivers one of its most iconic, darkly brilliant details. Right at that moment, a servant enters.
Yeah.
He's delivering a gift, a package of yellow mandarin oranges, Huanggan. They're from Ligang, the official handling the torture. Just a festive gift, oranges for the new year to have with their wine.
A common gift. But Wang Shi sees something else.
She does. She stops Qinhui as he's about to cut one open. She looks at the orange and sees the perfect delivery system, the perfect disguise for a death warrant.
She calls the orange the executioner.
Yes, the Gatshu, the executioner itself. The evil ingenuity here is just, wow. She tells Qinhui, hollow out one of the oranges carefully. Write the execution order on a small note, put it inside, and seal the orange back up so it looks untouched.
Hidden in plain sight.
Exactly. The symbol of good luck and celebration, now carrying a secret order to kill.
And the order is specific.
Yes. Deliver this orange to Li Gang via the trusted servant Zhu Ning. The note inside tells Li Gang to execute Yufei, Yu Yun, and Zhang Xian that very night at a place called Fengbo Pavilion, Windwave Pavilion.
No delay. Do it now.
Immediately. And Qinhui, who was paralyzed moments before, is now totally resolved, maybe even relieved. The decision's made. The method is genius. He does exactly as Wang Shi instructed and sends Zhu Ning off with the deadly fruit.
That whole sequence. The east window, the ash writing, the mandarin orange. It's just unforgettable. It really cements the conspiracy in your mind.
It absolutely does. It provides those visceral details that make the legend so powerful and enduring.
So looking back, it all seems to converge, doesn't it? The prophecy warning Qinhui about the heavy qin blocking the sun and predicting his own body would vanish.
Right, and he tries to fight that fate, maybe, by eliminating Yufei, the source of his immediate political pressure.
But the narrative really gives the final push, the final agency, to his wife, Wang Shi.
It really does. Qinhui was trapped by his fears, fear of the prophecy, fear of the public, fear of this fourth prince. Wang Shi wasn't. She had this cold, hard logic.
The tiger logic.
The tiger logic. It's easier to kill the bound tiger than risk letting it go. She forced him to choose action.
We're right there in the final night. And the timing just twists the night, doesn't it? It's Chewy, the 29th of the 12th lunar month. New Year's Eve.
The end of the year, yeah. And Yufei, his son Yu Yun, who's tragically only 23, and General Zhang Xian are locked up separately. They know they're trapped by Chancellor Qinhui.
It feels like the end of everything. The end of the year, maybe the end of the dynasty's best hope.
It does. But even in that darkness, in the prison, there's this small human moment. A jail official, Ni Wan, brings wine, just out of respect, to seal the year, Feng Shui, with the general.
So even though the court has turned on him,
this ordinary guy, Ni Wan, still sees his worth, his dignity. It's a small act, but important.
Okay, so they're having this somber drink, and then something happens outside, starts to rain and snow. At the same time, weird weather, sleet, basically.
And Yufei hears it, And he's instantly disturbed, like deeply alarmed. And what's fascinating is it's not just bad weather for him, is it? It triggers something specific.
Exactly. It clicks. It connects straight back to this literary element the story uses,
Yeah.
a prophecy, a kind of riddle he received years earlier from a Zen master, Dao Yu.
Right, the Gojian. Yeah. And this moment, the rain and snow, it sort of activates the prophecy in his mind. It turns his execution from just, a political hit into something almost fated, something heaven itself is acknowledging.
So let's unpack that riddle.
Yeah.
He suddenly understands the first part, the first 4 lines. Year-end insufficient.
Which means the end of the year isn't quite full, so the 29th day, today.
Ugh, guard against heaven's weeping.
And that's the rain and snow starting outside, heaven crying.
Then below Fing, 2 dots. This is the really clever bit, isn't it?
It's brilliant, yeah. Pure literary code. You take the character, Fing.
Which means something like to receive or offer up.
Right, and you add 2 dots below it. What character do you get?
You get Kun. Obit. Ezian. Qianhui. The chancellor who's orchestrating his downfall.
Bang. Right there. The prophecy names the villain. It connects the weird weather, heaven weeping, directly to the human betrayal by Qinhui. It confirms the last line. We'll poison harm people.
So the story uses this prophecy to basically say, see, even fate knows Qinhui is the bad guy here.
Mm-hmm.
It validates all the outrage.
Precisely. It gives it this cosmic significance, but Yufei still doesn't have the whole picture. There were 4 more lines to that riddle.
Right. Sanjak Sumade Sunemajo. He knows who is behind it now, but maybe not exactly how or where it's going to happen.
He knows his time is up, basically. But even facing that certainty, his reaction isn't, oh no, poor me. It's all about duty, which leads us straight into his final act.
The moment he gets it, the moment he realizes he's doomed by this prophecy, and Qinhui, he asks Niwan, the jailer, for a brush and paper.
Not to write a goodbye note, though.
No, it's a military dispatch, a crucial order for his friends, Shiquan and Yu Gao. They're back at his main camp in Zuxian town, guarding the army's official seal, the Shuayan.
And this letter, it's often mentioned quickly, but it's ethically massive in this narrative. If you think about the big picture, this shows his absolute commitment to Zhang, to loyalty, above everything, even his own life.
He's worried, terrified, really, that his troops, his loyal guys, would hear about his execution.
Which they absolutely would have.
And just, revolt against the Song Court. He explicitly says, this source claims, that it would damage his loyal reputation. Why Lu Wing the Zhengming?
Think about that. He'd rather be unjustly executed by the very court he served than have his followers start a civil war that could weaken the dynasty against the Jurchens.
The irony is just crushing. The court says he's disloyal, and his dying act is the ultimate proof of his loyalty to the system killing him.
If he hadn't sent that letter, his loyal armies might well have risen up, could have shattered the Southern Song military. He chose being a martyr, keeping his reputation pure over, fighting back and the messiness that would follow.
Preserving his integrity and maybe the empire's stability was more important than saving himself.
Wow. And Niwan, the jailer, steps up again. He promises Yufei he'll deliver that letter, swears he'll quit his job and go home if anything happens to the general.
He becomes the witness, the one person of integrity ensuring Yufei's last message gets through, preserving that final act of loyalty.
Yeah, Niwan is sort of the counterpoint to all the betrayal, but that quiet moment of, mutual respect, it doesn't last long.
No, the door bursts open, basically.
Yeah.
A guard comes in, whispers that a secret imperial decree has arrived. The Shengzing.
And that's it. No more talk, no appeals. This is the order.
But Yufei, even now, he kind of dictates how this goes down. He accepts it immediately. He tells them to bring his son, Yu Yun, and General Zhang Xian.
And then what he does next is really striking.
He binds them himself, his own son, his loyal general. Then he tells the guards to bind him, saying that offending officials, Fengguan, have to be bound to receive an imperial decree.
It's incredible. He's using the regime's own protocols against them, in a way, refusing to be treated like just some common criminal they can haul away. He maintains that posture of a loyal, if condemned, official right to the end, asserting his moral standing over their corrupt process.
And then, the final piece of the puzzle clicks into place. He asks where they have to go to receive this decree.
And the guards tell him, the Pavilion of Wind and Waves, Feng Bo Ting.
Feng? What? Wind and wave.
And Yufei just knows. That final line of the riddle, Sengo, be mindful of the wind and waves. He'd thought it meant I don't know, dangers on the Yangtze River. Something literal like that.
But it wasn't. It was the name of the place they were going to kill him.
The prophecy, the political plot, his fate, it all just crashes together in that one name. Feng Boting.
His son Yu Yun and Zhang Xian, they're younger, maybe more impulsive. They suggest making a break for it. Let's fight our way out. What have we got to lose now?
But Yu Fei shuts it down. He's sticking to that principle of loyalty. His final words in this telling are just pure defiance wrapped in duty.
A loyal subject never fears death. A great man sees death as simply going home. Why should we be afraid?
It's his final defense of who he was. And maybe, practically, it prevents a bloody, messy end that might cloud the pure image of loyalty he just secured with that letter.
So no final fight.
No. The source says all three, Yu Fei, just 39, his son Yu Yun, 23, and Zhang Jian were strangled. Right there at the Pavilion of Wind and Waves.
But the story doesn't just end with their deaths. The author, drawing on popular feeling perhaps, insists on something more. A reaction from the cosmos itself.
Yeah, the text describes this immediate, almost supernatural chaos. Whoa, a wild wind kicks up.
All the lamps and lights suddenly go out.
Black fog rolls in, covering everything, flying sand and stones. It's dramatic stuff.
Why include that? Why the storm and darkness?
It's a literary choice, obviously, but it reinforces the absolute moral certainty of the narrative. This isn't just politics gone wrong. It's an offense against heaven, against the natural order. And that level of outrage explains why the story had such legs for centuries.
Right. And that outcry wasn't just in this novel. We looked at other sources too, poems, memorials written over the years. It's clear this wasn't just seen as a political oopsie. It was a deep, raw wound for the culture.
Absolutely. And you see these themes repeated again and again, this feeling of hen Bugan-like, an injustice you just can't stomach, can't accept.
What were the main points of that outcry?
Well, first, there's this profound disappointment, often aimed right at the emperor, Gaozong. How could he not see Yu Fei's loyalty? How could he let this happen?
And then there's the strategic loss. The feeling that killing Yu Fei wasn't just unjust, it was stupidly self-destructive, like tearing down your own defenses.
Exactly. The phrase Mao comes up, destroying the Great Wall. Losing Yu Fei was like losing the nation's main protection.
They constantly contrast his incredible military record, the 100 battles merit Biangung, with this pathetic, treacherous end.
And the blame gets focused very, very intensely on Xin Hui, and often his wife, Lady Wang, too. You know about the statues of them kneeling at Yu Fei's tomb?
Yeah, eternally apologizing.
That comes from this deep need for clear villains to absorb all that public anger and outrage. They become symbols of ultimate treachery.
There was that scholar, Yu Yinglu, who wrote a memorial.
Right. He basically says, Yu Fei's name is as great as heaven and earth. His virtue competes with the sun and moon for brightness. It elevates him completely.
So this brings us back to the main question of this. Why this story? Why does this fictionalized account of his last hours endure so strongly?
I think it's because in the face of a devastating political reality, betrayal, execution, injustice, this story provides a kind of moral victory.
Yeah.
The prophecy confirms the villain. The hero chooses perfect integrity, even in death.
It gives you clarity where the real events maybe felt messy or just unbearably wrong.
Exactly. The executions happen. Lennon must have been just electric with fear, right?
Oh, absolutely toxic. You'd think everyone would just keep their heads down. But straight away, we see these incredible acts of quiet bravery.
Right, regarding the bodies. People actually tried to recover them.
Yeah. It shows the incredible loyalty Yu Fei commanded. His retainer, Ni Wan, was, well, devastated, obviously. But he wasn't alone. We hear about two others, Wang Neng and Li Ji. They literally risked their necks to secretly buy 3 coffins.
Wow, and how did they even manage that, getting the bodies out?
This is where the legend adds a really interesting layer. It says the prison guards, the Yuzu Jinzin,
The guys who just carried out the execution.
the very same. The text says they were all on one path, meaning they were sympathetic. They actually helped.
No way, so even the state's own guards thought it was wrong.
That's the implication in the story. It broadens the circle of dissent right into the state apparatus itself. They helped lower the bodies over the prison wall. Secretly, of course.
Okay, so they have the bodies, but then what? You can't exactly hold a public funeral. Where do you hide something like that?
Well, they carried the coffins out of the city at night, made sure to put identifying marks inside just in case, and they buried them near Westlake. And the hiding place is key. The text says they covered them with snail shells, loshike.
Snail shells. That seems
Right?
random. Is that symbolic or just practical?
Probably brilliantly practical. Think about it. You're not building a monument. You're hiding something priceless. So you cover it with the most worthless, common junk imaginable. Snail shells, bits of rubbish.
Ah, okay, so it's like hiding in plain sight almost. Misdirection.
Exactly. Nobody important, nobody from Qinhu's side would bother looking under a pile of discarded shells. It's genius concealment through perceived worthlessness. And as soon as that was done, Nia won, the retainer. He got out of the city, fast, knew he'd be a target.
Incredible story of loyalty. Okay, so while this secret burial is happening back in the halls of power, Qinhui gets the news.
Yes. And we switch from this, quiet respect and mourning straight into high-level political paranoia. Big time.
He must have been pleased, though. He won, right?
Oh, the text says,
Mokisi.
he and Luoruji, the conspirators, reported the success, and Qinhui was overjoyed.
Yeah.
But the very first thing he asks is, what did Yufei say before he died?
He needs reassurance. Needs to know he didn't just create a martyr whose words would echo.
Precisely. And the answer he gets, it's absolutely chilling for him. They tell him Yufei only said one thing, did not listen to Dai Yu's words. Indeed, there is the peril of Fengbo.
Dai Yu, the monk, and Fengbo. Wind and Wave. Isn't that the name of the pavilion where they were held?
Exactly. Fengbo Pavilion. It means trouble, chaos, political storms. So Yufei's last words are basically, the monk warned me this trouble was coming.
Yeah.
Suddenly, Qinhui's victory feels tainted. He realizes someone, a spiritual figure, saw this coming, knew it was unjust.
Wow. So the monk Dai Yu immediately becomes this huge problem for Qinhui. He represents a truth Qinhui can't control.
Unmanageable truth, exactly.
Mokisi.
And Luoruji, they immediately see the danger. They tell Qinhui, look, you have to deal with this evil monk. Silence him. And they add something even more brutal. They say you need to eliminate Yufei's family back in Tangyin, Shangzhou. They use that awful phrase. Cut the grass to root. Zistinyu Liugen. Make sure there's no chance of revenge, ever.
Classic move of someone deeply insecure in their power. Wipe out the whole line.
Utterly ruthless. So Qinhui issues orders immediately. 2 missions launched almost simultaneously. First, he sends Feng Zong and Feng Xiao racing off to Tingyin.
Yeah.
The order arrests the entire Yu family, not one to escape.
Okay, that's the family dealt with. What about the monk?
For Dai Yu, he dispatches his own trusted retainer, He Li, secret mission. He Li has to leave the very next morning, and get this, it's New Year's Day, 1143, to go to Jinshan Temple, near modern Xinjiang, and bring Dai Yu back.
Bring him back, not just eliminate him.
Seems like Qinhui wanted to control him, maybe. Control the prophecy, control the narrative. But he definitely wanted him neutralized, one way or another.
Okay, so this sets up this amazing confrontation, right? He Li, representing the state's power, going after Dai Yu, who seems to represent spiritual knowledge.
Exactly. Pure legend, pure drama. He Li travels, gets a ferry to Jinshan Temple, this island monastery, and he finds Dai Yu, already teaching, speaking the Dharma to a crowd.
What's he teaching? Anything significant?
Oh, highly significant. He's lecturing on 4 specific characters. Meng Huan Bao Ying.
Dream, illusion, bubble, shadow.
Yes. Foundational Buddhist teaching. Everything is impermanent. Basically, he's delivering a philosophical smackdown on Qinhui's entire power structure before He Li even makes his move. He's framing Qinhui's victory as, well, just a fleeting illusion.
So He Li plans to just wait, maybe trick him later.
That seems to be the plan. But Diu Yu isn't playing along. He suddenly stops his sermon, looks at the crowd, and recites a verse, a gatha, loudly, for everyone.
The famous verse. What does it say again?
It's astonishing. He basically announces he knows exactly why He Li is there. He says, my age 39, right and wrong throughout the day, acknowledging his life. That, not for my own body, only for opening my mouth much. He's saying, I'm in trouble because I spoke truth to power.
Wow, he's owning it completely.
Completely. Then he directly names his pursuer. He Li comes from the east, I walk towards the west. He knows who he is, where he came from, and the final lines. If not for the great power of the Buddha, how could I avoid falling into his hands? He's declaring his escape road is spiritual, not physical.
And then, what does he do after saying that?
Immediately after speaking, closes his eyes, sits there on the Dharma seat, and passes away. Just like that. It's called Zua. Voluntary transition, passing away while seated in meditation, ultimate spiritual defiance.
He just checks out, denies Qinhui even the chance to capture him.
Denies him completely. He leaves it just stunned. He came all this way on New Year's Day for this. A corpse.
So what does He Li do? He must suspect a trick.
He does. He's furious, suspicious. He orders the monks right then and there, burn the body, cremate him. Now, he wants proof. No faking death.
Okay, so they start the cremation.
And that's when the legend gives us the big miracle, the final proof of Dao Yu's power. The sources say there's this loud noise from the pyre, intense flames shoot up, and then, in the sky,
Don't tell me.
a 5-colored lotus flower appears in the smoke and flames. And sitting on it is Dao Yu, ascended, looking down at He Li.
No way, that's incredible storytelling.
It really is.
Uh,
And he speaks directly to He Li, gives him a message to take back.
What's the message? Must be pretty damning for Qinghui.
Devastating, he says. He Li, the ice mountain is not long-lasting. The dream scene is impermanent.
The ice mountain. Qinhui's power base. Looks solid, but it's temporary, melting away.
Exactly. That's the interpretation. It ties right back to the Meng Huan Pao Ying sermon. Your power is an illusion, Xinhui. It won't last. Then he tells He Li, you should seek the path to enlightenment early. Do not lose your original nature. You may go. And then, poof, ascends into the sky.
Wow. So He Li fails completely. Qinhui's paranoia is basically confirmed. There's a truth out there he can't touch, and the monk gets the last word, quite literally.
The spiritual truth escapes the state's grasp. That's the core message here.
Okay, so while all that drama is unfolding with the monk, let's not forget the other agents, Feng Zong and Feng Xiao. They were heading to Tangyin.
Right. And back in Tangyin, the family Yu Fei's wife, Li Furen, his daughter Yinping, his daughter-in-law Hongxi, they know nothing. Nothing official. But a month has passed since the men were taken. The anxiety must have been unbearable.
And this anxiety, it starts to manifest supernaturally, through dreams.
Exactly. The tension is so high, it breaks through into their subconscious. We get these really specific, ominous dreams. Li Furen, the wife, dreams her husband comes back, but he's holding only one mandarin duck.
One mandarin duck. I know they usually symbolize pairs, right? Like lovebirds.
Precisely. Yin Yang. They symbolize an inseparable couple. Seeing just one, that's a terrible omen. It means Shaizan Yin Yang, a broken pair, separation, death.
Oof. Okay, that's grim. What about the daughter, Yinping?
Her dream is stranger, maybe even more unsettling. She dreams her brother, Yu Yan and Zhang Xian, return, but each one is holding a piece of wood.
A piece of wood? What could that possibly mean?
Well, they don't know. It's weird, right? The anxiety's just through the roof now. So they do what people did, then they call for a fortune teller, a local shaman named Wang Shipu.
To interpret these nightmares, basically.
Yes, and Wang Shipu arrives, supposedly gets possessed by a spirit, a roaming god, or Bon Yu Xian, and she starts interpreting.
Okay. What does she say?
First, she confirms the obvious one, the single mandarin duck. Yeah, that means a separated pair. Bad news. But then she gets to the wood dream. And this is the absolute killer moment in the narrative. Pure linguistic prophecy.
How does she interpret holding a piece of wood?
She looks at the image in the dream. A person holding one piece of wood. And she sees it not just as an image, but as, well, as the components of a Chinese character.
Wait, a person plus wood?
Exactly. A person radical derived from what next to a wood radical.
Yeah.
Put them together. What character do you get?
She.
And what does Zhu mean?
It means to rest, to stop, to cease. Oh my God.
Bingo. She tells them, a person holding a piece of wood is the character Zhu, meaning Ye Yuan and Zhang Xian have ceased.
They have ceased. She's telling them they're dead, using this incredibly clever, devastating word puzzle embedded in the dream.
It's stunning literary craft.
Yes.
The truth delivered through a visual pun, deciphered by spiritual insight, just crushing.
And what happens to the shaman after she delivers this bombshell?
The effort, the spiritual weight of conveying that truth, it's too much. The text says she collapses immediately after speaking the prophecy.
Wow. So the family gets this terrible confirmation, likely just hours or maybe a day before Xinhui's agents physically arrive to arrest them all.
The timing is brutal. They receive the spiritual verdict just before the political one lands.